Taylor Swift had greatly anticipated the New York Fashion Week and looked forward to giving her fans the best performance. However, what she didn't expect was to witness someone being insulted publicly for having a skin problem, talk more of being cut off during her speech. "Is this what people do here? This is unbelievable," she thought, sadness written all over her. "He doesn't even care how hurt she might be feeling. This isn't nice." Thoughts filled her mind as she listened to the commentator's mean words. Suddenly, Taylor spoke. "So what if she's different? Aren't we all?" She didn't plan this, but she had to. Phones were already in the air, waiting to record the moment. As she continued speaking, the unexpected happened. The commentator disconnected her mic so she wouldn't embarrass him further. However, what Taylor did next shocked everyone. It was fall in New York, and the scent of pine and leaves was in the air. Everyone was getting ready for the colder months, and as usual, New York City, the city that never sleeps, was still buzzing with movement and activity. However, what every New Yorker would be able to identify was that the streets of New York were busier than usual. It was no surprise as people were here for the famous New York Fashion Week. This show attracted people worldwide, as it was one of the greatest fashion shows ever. This year's show promised to be sensational, as it was confirmed that American pop star and worldwide sensation Taylor Swift would perform live. So yeah, New York was busier than usual. Taylor Swift landed at the airport in New York. She had just flown in straight from California to attend New York Fashion Week, of which she was very excited. After getting clearance from the airport and signing a few autographs, because even the airport staff were her fans, she was taken to her hotel to freshen up. Her performance was for Victoria's Secret, one of her best fashion brands. She was a bit nervous, but when wasn't she? It helped her stay more alert and focused. Soon, she was on her way to the show. She went through the order of events with the manager and got the timeline for when she was to go on stage. She was just passing by the model's dressing room when she overheard giggling. Turning and looking on through the door, she saw the most beautiful bunch of women she had ever seen. "Wow, those women are so pretty," she thought. However, that wasn't what caught her attention. She wondered what they were laughing at. It was another model. She was dressed in a very gorgeous dress, but that was not what would catch many people's attention. It was the white patches on her dark skin that really stood out. The dress had been made so that the patches looked like designs on the dress. "She's very beautiful, and her skin makes her stand out even more," thought Taylor. Then, she noticed the other models were pointing at her and laughing. "Are they laughing at her skin?" she thought in a mixture of sadness and anger. "She looks like a spotted cow," one said, giggling. "Yeah, is she not ashamed of letting people see that?" another asked with a look of disgust. "I kind of feel bad for her, though, walking around with that disease. Do you guys think it is contagious?" another one asked in disgust, and the whole crew laughed. Taylor was annoyed. "She's right there," she wanted to yell. However, the stage director announced that it was time for her to go on stage, so she went on ahead to take her place. Taylor brushed off the emotions associated with the sight she had just witnessed and focused on the task ahead of her. As she took her place and the intro music played, she had pushed the encounter to the back of her mind. Aria Silvano could hear the other models talking about her behind her back. It wasn't like they were trying to hide it anyway. She took a deep breath. She felt bad that they judged her simply because of the marks on her skin. It wasn't that she did anything wrong, but simply because she looked different. However, she was determined not to let their comments get to her. She loved modeling, and it was what she came to do. Besides, she loved her skin, and nothing anyone had said about it would change that. "Don't be afraid, Aria," she said to her reflection. "You just need to go out there and do your thing." Then she smiled and went out to the runway. Taylor loved music. It was her soul, passion, love, and everything. She poured all she had into the words she sang, and coupled with the models that walked on the runway, she felt the whole hall dancing to the music. This was one of the reasons she respected music. People from all around the world, from different continents, connected by a tune that spoke to their souls. She would not trade it for anything in the world. She was still absorbed in the music when she noticed that people were beginning to whisper and point to the stage. A little self-conscious, she turned, only to see that the model walking on the runway was the one she had seen in the dressing room, who was being made fun of because of her skin. Taylor looked around and noticed a woman grimace as she watched the model. The woman, with her head held high, refused to be intimidated. However, Taylor knew that she was trying hard not to give in. That was the turning point for Taylor, and she made her decision right there on the spot. She would not stand by and let someone be bullied. That would just make her as guilty as the victim. As soon as she finished the first song, she walked off stage, and the commentator came to take over and introduce the next brand. "So everyone, let's give it up for Victoria's Secret," the hall cheered. "We can always trust that brand to give us something new, vibrant, and beautiful, although I can't say for the last model. I mean, were they trying to creep us out or what?" The man said with a chuckle. Some people in the audience also joined him in laughing. "Like, shouldn't she be more covered up? I'm not saying she was not beautiful, but we really didn't need to see any of that," he added with another mocking smile. Edward Stewart was having a fun moment. When he had seen the woman with the patches of fair skin in the dressing room, he was surprised. "She looks like a spotted pig," he thought with an internal grimace. "Victoria's Secret is known for picking the best models in the country. But what is the deal with the spotted one?" he thought in amusement. To make matters worse, her dress had cutouts to emphasize the patterns on her skin. "What is this woman trying to prove?" he thought, annoyed. "What made her believe someone like her was pretty compared to the others? Some people just do not know their place. Well, don't worry, I will show you," he thought with a dark smirk. When he saw her walking on the runway, he burst into laughter. "Is this a joke? Sure, she had the grace of the other models, but she did not fit in. Too different," he thought. "She needs to go back to where she came from. People will find the patches on her skin offensive." He smirked when he saw that he was right. Some people diverted their eyes to look elsewhere, while others grimaced as she passed. Soon, Taylor Swift's performance was over, and he was asked to take the microphone. As he did, a plan came into his head and he smiled. "I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I saw her, I was reminded of Old MacDonald's farm. You know, the cow?" And some members of the audience chuckled. Taylor had had just enough of this. "So what if she was different, aren't we all?" she fumed. After making fun of the girl with the skin patches, the commentator introduced the next brand that Taylor Swift was to sing for. Taylor took the mic and said hello to everyone, and the people cheered in excitement. "I can see we are all excited to be here today. I'm sorry, but I could not help but pay attention to what that fellow on the mic just said. He seemed really aggressive about the color of that beautiful model's skin. Can she please come up here for a minute?" Taylor asked. The whole hall began to whisper. Aria Silvano was shocked that Taylor Swift wanted her up on stage. What now, she wondered. It was no surprise when the commentator had made snarky remarks about her skin. However, she had grown used to it. Ever since she had manifested vertigo at the age of 3, it had been one mean comment after another. She was isolated from the other kids because they did not understand why her skin was different. She was called cow and got tired of people asking her what was wrong with her skin. At some point, she even tried covering it up with makeup. However, as she grew, she learned to love her skin and came to terms with the fact that she was different, but being different wasn't really a bad thing. When she saw the audition for being a Victoria's Secret model, she never wanted going for it. Her friend was excited about it and encouraged her to audition. Getting a job with them had been one of the greatest confidence boosters ever. To think that someone considered her to be that beautiful. When she went home that night, she cried tears of joy. When she entered the industry, she discovered that it was even more cautious of people who did not look right. She had encountered several backlashes about the patches of color on her skin, but she was not going to be broken. However, what she did not see coming was Taylor Swift advocating for her. Could this be real? She wondered. She came on stage as Taylor Swift asked her to. "I find it difficult to believe that as Americans in the 21st century, we still have some prejudice over skin color. I sat backstage and watched how she was treated for something she had no control over. So what if she is different? Aren't we all? I watched as the commentator came up stage to say those nasty things about her, and some of you laughed. She is beautiful and strong, and you making fun of her does not change that." Many people in the audience looked embarrassed by their actions, and she could see them nodding in agreement with what she was saying. We must respect one another, because suddenly, her mic ceased. Taylor looked around in confusion and then noticed that the commentator was giving her a mocking smile. Did he just cut off my microphone? She wondered in disbelief. Even the audience seemed shocked at the man's audacity to cut off Taylor Swift mid-speech. However, what Taylor did next left everyone speechless. She came down from the runway and took a placard from someone in the audience. The whispers increased. "What is she going to do?" someone asked. She walked up to a woman with a placard, looking wide-eyed at her, and asked if she could borrow it. The woman said, "Yeah, sure, I guess." "Do you have a marker I could borrow?" she asked with a smile. With a dazed look, the woman she was talking to said, "Yeah, sure," and then she gave Taylor a black marker. Taylor Swift wrote something on it quickly, and with a confident smile, she raised it high above her head. The inscription, "I am not my skin, "I am a model with a skin condition," was boldly written on it. The camera zoomed closer to ensure everyone in the building could understand what she wrote. Then, to everyone's surprise, she began to chant, "I am beautiful, I am brave, I am me, and the color of my skin does not matter." It was a sight to behold, the famous Taylor Swift with a placard above her head, chanting in a fight against discrimination due to skin color. After the crowd had overcome their shock, they began chanting with her. Soon, the whole building was chanting in unison, their voices echoing against the walls. Edward's face turned red in embarrassment. "How dare she?" he seethed. He turned and walked away backstage. Taylor Swift was an influential person. He needed to get this under control before she got the upper hand. That evening, he posted a video on Instagram, claiming that Taylor Swift had thrown a tantrum during New York Fashion Week simply because her microphone got cut off. In his video, he portrayed her as a spoilt, selfish, and self-centered woman. He even edited the video of her raising the placard, saying she raised it angrily to protest about the microphone going off. "It was a small technical glitch," he said, putting on an innocent face. "She did not have to overreact or be so angry about it. It was a problem that could simply be sorted out in minutes." That evening, Taylor saw the video, but she was not worried. She knew the truth would come out. Other people had taken videos too. Others knew what really happened, so she was sure that the lie Edward posted on social media would haunt him. She felt sad for him. Thinking that someone with such an outdated mindset still exists in such a time like this was so pitiful. Life will be hard for him if he does not change his thoughts. As she was still deep in thought, her phone rang. It was Arya. Arya was deeply troubled by the video Edward had posted. "This looks like trouble," she thought. She felt bad that a sweet woman such as Taylor Swift was being targeted and harassed on social media because of her. So she cajoled Taylor's secretary to give her her phone number. She had called that evening to apologize for dragging her into her mess. However, Taylor brushed it off. "You don't have anything to apologize for. Instead, Edward should be the one apologizing. Hold your head up high. Everything is going to be all right. You'll see." Arya sighed. Sleep would not come easy tonight, she thought. However, she trusted Taylor. After all, the woman had put her career on the line to defend her. The following day, Edward woke up with a smile. He had played his cards right and was expecting results. He reasoned that his version of the story would have gone wild before the truth would come out. Nothing spread like wildfire compared to fake news. As he drank his coffee, he whistled. He was paying Taylor and Arya back for embarrassing him on stage during the show. Sure, the sponsors would be angry with him, but they would stay on the public's side to save face. He put on his phone and went to his social media page to discuss his victory. However, what he saw there wiped the smile off his face. His plan had failed, as people who attended the show released the real videos overnight. Soon, the truth came out, and people began to see Taylor Swift as an icon of hope for women facing discrimination because of their looks, especially in the fashion industry. One of the people this inspired was Alessia Cara, a Canadian singer who used her music to promote women's empowerment. She released a video showing her support for all that Taylor Swift had said and for Arya. "Let's build each other up, not tear each other apart. As long as we are beautiful inside, whatever is on the outside should not matter," she said. Many other celebrities rallied in support of the cause. Even Beyoncé used a vitiligo model in one of her music videos. The picture of Taylor, in a beautiful white sequin dress, with a placard raised proudly above her head in a show of defiance, was all over social media. "She's so brave, exercising her right to freedom of speech even when they tried to silence her. If there's anything Americans cannot condone, it's being told to be silent. And she just proved that she is an American citizen and knows how to exercise her rights without being a pushover," a social media influencer praised. The Taylor Swift chant opened people's eyes to the challenges people with vitiligo faced, especially in the modeling industry. People were becoming more aware of the troubles people with the skin condition were having in a country that was termed the land of the free. On The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Taylor explained her reason for doing what she did. "We can't continue to allow people who are suffering from one form of discrimination or the other to be silenced by intimidation." She paused, then continued. "Having a prejudice toward people with vitiligo is just a backward way of thinking. And I feel like that's a topic we have gone over for years and years. It's something we are supposed to have moved past. We can't keep living in the past, walking around in circles. We can never have progress like that. We need to move on." Arya may be a strong, resilient woman who can do her thing without caring about what others say about her skin, but why does she have to worry about what her skin looks like? Why do we need to make the patches on her skin issue a hurdle she has to face to fulfill her dreams? Wow, Taylor, who knew you had this kind of speech in you? Jimmy said, trying to lighten the mood. I totally agree with what you have said. She is different, but aren't we all? We don't have the same eyes, hair, or skin, live in the same houses, or like the same things. So why are we bothered by her skin? Meanwhile, Edward Stewart was trying to save face. He knew he was in deep trouble over his comments on the show. He had received a query from the organizers of the New York Fashion Week and was ordered to formally apologize to Arya. He posted a video on his social media handle apologizing for what he said. Many nasty comments were made about him online. He's so fake, I bet they forced him to do this. Hope he gets fired, the comments read. However, Taylor, ever the icon, also posted her video. Hey guys, she began. I think we have all seen the apology Mr. Edward released on his social media handle. While we may not know whether it was a true apology, we need to tone it down in the comments section. Two wrongs do not, and have never been able to make a right. We need to stop being quick to judge and hate. We need to start learning to be kind to one another, because at the end of the day, we have each other. Edward was shocked that she stood up for him too. He knew he had issues, having been a victim of bullying in his childhood simply because he was fat. No one ever stood up for him, so when he grew up, he became the bully. With carefully crafted sentences, he let people know he was the top dog. So when he had seen Arya, an instinct to prey on people weaker than him was triggered. He knew he did stuff like that to make him feel good about himself. However, having Taylor back him up was an emotional moment for him, and he felt truly repentant. As for Arya, she was celebrated. Her resilience, even amid adversity, was celebrated worldwide. She was made the cover of Vogue magazine and was invited for an interview where she spoke about her struggles as a model with vitiligo. It's hard being different, she said. But one thing I've learned to embrace as I grew up was that being different doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. I just stood out more. It was hard growing up for me with this condition, especially as a child. I felt isolated, but I persevered, and I had great friends who loved me no matter what I looked like, so that was a bonus for me. She sighed and continued. One thing my mother told me, and that I would never forget, is that I am a survivor. My body fought itself, and I won. These patches, as you people call them, are my battle scars. My advice to other models or girls who aspire to enter the modeling field but have this condition is to pursue your dreams. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. Don't let anyone stop you from doing what you want. Everything will be fine. Don't let fear hold you back from doing what you want to do with your life. You are brave, bold, and beautiful. The same week, Victoria's Secret dedicated a whole clothing line to be modeled by people with vitiligo. Even the famous Winnie Harlow was present. A few weeks later, Louis Vuitton paraded a model with vitiligo at the fashion show in Paris. It had been one of the night's highlights, and people cheered loudly. When Arya saw this, she shed tears of joy. It made her feel proud that her struggles had brought other models victory against prejudice. She would forever be grateful that Taylor Swift stood up to vouch for her. Brighter days were ahead for her, and she looked toward a better tomorrow. What are your thoughts about Taylor Swift's bravery and support toward Arya? Let us know in the comments. If this video was inspiring, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen. See you next time.